Dude, a venomous puff adder struck my foot on this hiking trail some years ago, and for reasons that I still can't explain, it didn't bite me. Today is the first time that I'm back in about 7 years, and I'm back not because I think the puff adder is still here, but because the fear clearly still is here. I'm currently in Lakeside in Cape Town, and this over here is the Pinnacle, where the Lakeside Pinnacle gets its name. This is also a climbing spot. Doesn't seem very popular. I climbed here once, but you can see by the ooh, oh gosh, I'm so spooked. You can see by all the bolts running up the wall that it's a climbing spot. I changed location. This one had better lighting, but also less bushes around to, have something creep up on me. Okay, it's coffee time. Today I'm going with the Rwanda from Cedar. I think the thing that I realized with this whole snake story is that one bad moment can change your relationship with a place or with a person, or even a part of yourself. And even after the danger has passed, something in you keeps acting like it doesn't. I think that's what I wanted to sort of come here and address and interrogate and see how I responded to being here again after 7 years. Okay, so what happened was that in 2019 I was climbing one of these walls here with a friend of mine. It was quite early in the morning. I think it was a similar time to now, actually a bit earlier, about 9 or 10 o'clock. And once we had done climbing, it was a short session because I asked him to help me film something. We were on our way down, and I just remember us going down a very narrow path. He was in front, we were just chatting, early morning, good vibes, just had a nice little climb. All of a sudden, I don't know how else to explain it, but that out of the bushes, like this puff adder kind of just fell out of the bushes. It didn't slither out, kind of like fell out, which is very weird. The only explanation I have there is that it was still cold and therefore not as agile and stuff. So it like tumbled, and now this thing is in between myself and Chris. I then did the worst thing that you can ever do, was that instead of standing dead still and letting this thing just go on its merry way, I retracted the closest foot I had to the snake. And when I did that, this puff adder went after my foot, but instead of biting, it just sort of head-butted the nose of my foot. And after that I froze and then it sort of slithered away and it went under a nearby rock, and I even went and I took a picture of it. I'll see if I can find the picture. We then went down to the car, which is not that far away. I was shaking, I was absolutely shaking. And to this day, I don't understand why it didn't bite me. I initially thought it was maybe because it was cold, it was trying to find some sun, warm up. But if it reached my foot so easily, it could have just as well have bitten me. And to this day, the only real explanation I have is that the hand of God kept its mouth closed, and it wasn't actually able to bite me. Because, and please, if you're a snake expert, please explain in the comments why it would have chosen to not open its mouth and instead just headbutt me like Zidane. So I was very lucky on that day, and I thought it was just for the first couple of weeks that I would feel sort of spooked by it and get these cold shivers every time I thought about it. But this went on for months and then even years. Today, even when I still think about it, and because it's so vivid, I get this like feeling. That's what today was really about. Was I realized that this thing happens sometimes with us when a bad moment or a bad thing happens to us that causes fear. We then associate that place or that person or that thing with that fear, and then sometimes we avoid to return to that thing, even if it's a good thing. Like, for me, the mountain is my happy place, and luckily that event wasn't bad enough that I never hiked again. I certainly was more cautious when I hiked after that, but I've hiked many mountains since that, dozens and dozens of times. But I really wanted to come back and just see what happened inside here and inside here as I navigated through sort of this path. And I actually couldn't find the spot where it happened. So I think maybe on my way down, because my perspective will be the same that it was on the day, maybe I will recognize it. But I was certainly way more cautious coming up here. And this is not just facing the fear, this is like trying to understand it. Being here certainly helped me feel a lot more at peace, even though I'm still a bit like, yo, this thing could be anywhere. Any little movement, any little lizard that flies, or just now I got like spooked when a butterfly like flew from behind a rock. Legit, a beautiful white butterfly flew out from behind a rock, and I honestly got a fright. On a normal day, a butterfly is not gonna give you a fright. You know what I'm saying? So there's definitely still an association with this place that's creeping me out a bit. What I'm realizing is that the body doesn't care that the event wasn't that bad, because we have a hospital maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes away. I would have gotten there in time. Hopefully there would have been antivenom, but I think puff adders have a cytotoxic venom which affects the cells and tissue. So like my leg would have looked messed up if they had sorted out in time. At the most, I think I would have lost my leg. If I didn't get antivenom in time, maybe they would have needed to amputate my leg. And granted, that is quite intense. That's hectic. But in hindsight, like, it didn't bite me. I was fine. Nothing happened. But the body still remembers that event as if it did bite me, which is so hectic to me. And so it got me thinking, like, what else in my life has created this fear in me and imprinted this fear in my body that is now preventing me from revisiting something good, and that I've created an avoidance towards. A couple of things that came to mind. One is bouldering, which is the form of rock climbing where you just sort of climbing up a little boulder without ropes. And I got a shoulder injury there whilst bouldering in an indoor gym many years ago, and that sort of changed my feelings towards bouldering. So I haven't bouldered as much, even though it's such an epic sport and thing to do. So that's something I'm starting to think about now, and thinking maybe I should revisit it and change my relationship with it again to something good. Another one is I got food poisoning at a fishy restaurant at a very famous restaurant in South Africa that sells fish. Yeah, to this day I've never out of my own just gone back to those restaurants. It's just amazing how we do that. Like, please let me know in the comments if this is something that you do too, where you just completely avoid something and you cut off something that's potentially good just because of one bad experience. And so I'm trying to use this scenario with a snake to become aware of other parts of my life where I've done the same thing and I'm potentially keeping myself from other good things in life simply because of one bad experience. Last night, as I was thinking about the fact that I would come here, I got some weird feelings here. It wasn't feeling too comfortable in my chest, I must say, and it's just amazing how we can allow these things to sort of build up. So yeah, this is why I came back, because I realized that every time I avoided coming here, I was confirming the fear. And now that I'm here and I feel okay, it makes total sense, because exposure to this place doesn't confirm safety, because I'm not necessarily safe. Like I say, a puff adder could slither out of this bush right now. Exposure to this environment again doesn't confirm safety, but it's like it's giving my body new data to compete with the old data which said that this place is a place of danger. It's such a cool thing. I'm back here, the new data is overtaking the old data, saying, nah, chill bro. So now there's a bit more of an equilibrium to being here, and so exposure is working way better than I thought it would. I think it's important for me to disclose that I'm not a psychology professional. I'm not giving advice as to how to treat trauma or deep psychological issues. I'm just saying that, and I want to encourage you, that if there is a relationship that you had with something good, something that is good, that changed because of one bad moment, is to think about it if it makes sense within your story to revisit that place, to revisit that relationship, or that part of yourself that is now silent, or where the fear is still loud, to gather data and to see how you feel when you encounter it. Yeah, potentially let a new understanding or new data from that exposure compete with the old, and maybe you get that part, that maybe you claim that thing back. But yeah, okay, so the moment of truth, I now past where the incident happened when I came up here, but I think I might recognize it on the way down. Okay, I'm on my way down. Here we go. Totally fine. Totally fine. It's funny how I do remember the trail being a little bit different to what it is now. I feel like it was more bushy, like on each side. This thing just came tumbling out. Like it was drunk or something, bro. Like it was, whoa, what is that? Okay, that was, again, it was just a lizard. It was a vibe like this, like a little section like this, and then it like sort of stumbled out onto the path and then slithered away. Like I remember it slithering under like a rock nearby like that, so I may be close now. It's also possible that the bushes are not the same that it was back then. It may be less sort of thick and dense. About where my car is parked right now, that's where my friend's car was parked, so pretty close. I feel like I may be getting a bit closer. Oh, I see a little field mouse. That's why the snakes are here. The field mice are tasty, boy. Field mice are tasty, boy.
Yo.
Hey, bro. I'm busy making a video about the day that Puff Adder surprised us.
Oh yeah?
Do you remember where it happened exactly, like on the short trail?
It was probably about 1/3 of the way up the trail, so
Is it?
closer to the road.
Damn, okay. I'm looking, bro. I can't find it. Maybe it's a bit overgrown here now or something, that it looks so
Also,
different.
don't forget, there's been fires that have gone through there, so
Yes.
it's going to look different from when me and you went up there.
Sweet, thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
Okay, cool.
Cheers,
Okay,
bye.
that's waited. See you. Bye.
Bye. If my friend happens to find some footage, I'm gonna put it here.
He's under this rock over here, and Malcolm's gonna try and get a picture.
Okay, there's the bugger. Chris, you wanna come check this, bro? I can't see it here, dude.
Maybe wait for the...
Holy smokes, dude!
Oh,
I'm
Philip,
like still.
Yeah. 20 years I've been climbing here, and it's
Oh.
the first time I see any sort of snake, and then it's a flip and looks like a puff adder,
It's
eh?
like the most.
Yeah.
Holy
We're
smokes!
both a bit rattled, but we'll be glad
Excuse
to
the
get
pun.
off.
Wait, no, excuse the pun. It's not that.
It's not a rattle snake.
Holy smokes! Unfortunately, I did not find the spot where the incident happened, but I did gather some very vital, important data about myself and my fears, and I look forward to doing this with some other fears I may still be having. But if you're still watching, thank you. I do appreciate you. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and remember that you have one life, so live today, and I will see you in the next one.